Your behavior will be controlled by a brain chip. Yeah, just last year I saw a CBS News piece where their academics are looking at brain chips in prisoners to make them behave. So let this be a warning, America. When the riots start, the government response will be brutal. And it was just an act of domination. And that's what's happening. And they will raise your taxes. They will give the money to foreign banks. But it doesn't matter. The cops are getting their money. They're mercenaries now. See, when the economy gets worse, folks, they tend to get even more vicious. That's why globalists, communists, socialists, fascists, they always seek to bankrupt the general public because they control the purse, and then you'll do anything. They want you poor. Authoritarians want you poor. That comes out of Bilderberg each year, that they want to bankrupt us. But hey, it's freedom. It's freedom. I mean, again, I shouldn't be an extremist. I support the officers. I'm pro-law enforcement. Everyone take your vaccines. The government loves you. And I look back to 19 and a half years ago, first getting on air, thinking about the time to come when open world government and the planetary, authoritarian, totalitarian, autocratic technocracy would be established, because Zbigniew Brzezinski, Carol Quigley, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the UN, UNESCO, the eugenics boards, all had told us they were going to do this. And everything that they'd said 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years before, they had already completed. They were guiding our world. They were in control to a great extent. It makes me almost want to just do my show from a cabin in the woods or something, or to run to the hills and do a 1-hour briefing once a week from a mountaintop or something. Because it's just, I need to get out of it. I need to get away from it. I need to unplug from it. Just being around it is so crushing to my spirit. And the twisted lies and fraud in myself. Just the fact that I have knowledge of good and evil and knowledge of how the globalists operate, I feel dirty even knowing it. Nietzsche said, do not look into the abyss lest you become the abyss. And even though I have become informed and enlightened to a high degree, in my view, compared to people that are totally unconscious, that's no trick at all. Admit that we're being bred like cattle and conditioned, and you will immediately jump 4 or 5 levels consciously, intellectually, spiritually, where you were previous, buying into the world. When you say the world, it's the artificial construct of the political system and the priesthood of the Illuminati that seek to control and shutter consciousness and free will in the name of giving you free will. They don't want you to have the real free will, the knowledge of good and evil. This is happening all over the country, where you can't have a gun shop, can't sell guns even legally. The big banks, everybody, newspapers won't take your ads. It's total racketeering, organized crime, groups working together to shut down free speech in this country. It is a big deal. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. When we talk about technocracy, we talk about the globalist own definition of it from Davos a few years ago, when the world leaders were meeting with the corporate owners of the planet. And they said it will be where one large central committee with pre-programmed computers controls everything you do, everything you eat, where you go, what you're allowed to engage in, what jobs you can have. And the truth is about globalism, it was sold as this wonderful way to take the technology of the West, export it to the third world, build them up to then actually create a system of global stability. But instead, the top globalists have been using it to screw everybody over, consolidate power, and cause massive population problems. It was rolled out 65 years ago to actually reduce population. It did the opposite because there was a double cross. Globalists claim they're altruistic. They claim they have all the answers. They claim they have this great vision for us. But in truth, they are the fallen souls. And that evidence is all being made manifest right now. Every day, even mainstream media and top globalist publications have to come out and admit the truth about where we are as a society and a civilization. Here is the World Economic Forum. That's basically Bilderberg Group Public coming out and saying that scientists know what you think and they know how to control your mind using electromagnetic waves. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember them floating that almost 20 years ago in the Baltimore Sun, where the CIA admitted they were adding augmentation systems to cell towers in the Baltimore area with DARPA to practice mind controlling the public. A future sci-fi superhuman soldiers more destructive than nuclear bombs who feel no fear or pain. Globalists want machines because they'll follow illegal orders. But the real goal is to turn us into the machines. Less human than human, but more human than human. And that's it. The Atlantean moment is here. Will we destroy ourselves as mythical Atlantis did? Whether it exists or not, we are now Atlantis. Are we Atlantis 2 or Atlantis 1? We don't know, but we are Atlantis. Maybe we're Atlantis 5.